What's up, guys? I'm BTC. We got even more leaks about possible Overwatch 2, Diablo 2 remastered, loot boxes going away, a new skin system, and more. Before I get started, if you enjoy the content here, make sure you subscribe and hit that bell because YouTube has changed how their system works, and now it greatly favors the big name brand channels over the individual content creators like me, so sharing the video helps a ton. I would appreciate it, and your other favorite YouTubers would appreciate it as well. As we get closer to Blizzcon, we've been getting more and more leaks. Obviously, some of these are not going to be real, but then again, some of them might be real, because a few of them seems like they have already been confirmed. We also have some new leaks about the changes to the loot box system, as well as how items will work with Overwatch 1 and Overwatch 2. Let's start with the stuff that has seemingly just been confirmed. Earlier leaks said that we were not only going to get Diablo 4, which was seemingly confirmed with that German magazine advertisement that I showed you guys before. Here you can see it on the screen. This is an ad for the Art of Diablo. It says that it has art content for Diablo 1, 2, 3, and 4. The other part of that leak, though, was Diablo 2 Remastered. Blizzard has been doing this sort of stuff a lot more recently. They had StarCraft, Warcraft, and the newest leak suggests that Diablo 2 will be remastered as well. As recently as last year, Blizzard mentioned that remastering Diablo 2 would be extremely difficult for a variety of reasons, but that doesn't mean that it's impossible. One of the other sources for many of these leaks is a streamer by the name of Metro, and he pointed out that the icons for Diablo 2 have been changed. But there are other sources that say that the icons were changed quite a while ago, which means that while a Diablo 2 remastered could be happening, the changed icons probably don't have anything to do with it. So this particular leak for the Diablo 2 remaster is still very much up in the air. Moving on to Overwatch, the newest leaks also claim that there may be significant changes to the in-game purchase model. Right now we have loot boxes. You can get them by playing the game or also buying them with real money. And loot boxes can be a pretty heated topic at some game companies. They like to include pay-to-win items inside of them. Others, like Blizzard, only add cosmetic stuff, but even with the cosmetic items, people still don't particularly like that there's a randomness to it, and they just, kind of don't really like that. They would rather be able to just pick the things that they want. Now, if they are going to add another purchase model and move away from the loot boxes, it could just be something simple like direct credits, where you buy X number of credits for a certain amount of money, and then you can spend those credits on any character skin or emote that you want. But another very popular model that's used with a tremendous amount of success is the Season Pass. This is where you purchase a pass that gives you items and allows you to collect a large amount of extra stuff through playing the game. Fortnite, very famously, uses this incredibly well, whereas other games like Apex Legends are kind of struggling with it. Now, this sort of model would allow for significantly more items to be added than what Blizzard is currently doing, and for them to still make a profit. However, a lot of players feel like that would be forcing them to pay for the game more than once because of this. Now, Fortnite is free, so the Season Pass is just an extra thing, but you have to buy Overwatch. So unless they go to a free-to-play model, which I'm not really sure they would want to do, a Season Pass may not be nearly as popular as they would hope, because, again, you buy the game, and then they also expect you to buy a Season Pass as well, and, I just don't know how many players would actually like that. Now, speaking of character skins, though, we got more information from that same person, Metro, who says that Overwatch 2 will be its own separate game and not an expansion. Now, a lot of people, myself and many others, are predicting that Overwatch 2 would be kind of like an expansion similar to what they've done in the past with a lot of the Diablo games, the Warcraft games, StarCraft, all that sort of stuff. Blizzard really likes to have expansions more than they like sequels. But he's saying that it will be a separate game, not an expansion. He also added that the current plan is that there will not be any transfer of items or progression from Overwatch 1 into Overwatch 2. They're separate games, and you have to get all of the stuff all over again. And if that's true, I can see a lot of people not being very happy with it. But he didn't seem like he was entirely convinced, but that's what he's hearing. But again, if if that happens, I don't know. Like, a lot of people are not going to be very happy about it. I think it's very likely that Overwatch 2 will use the same game engine and the basic framework as Overwatch 1, in which case not transferring the items just kind of seems like a bad idea, especially considering that a lot of the leaks and rumors surrounding Overwatch is that it will be a campaign mode with cooperative focus instead of competitive modes that we have in Overwatch 1. So there really isn't any harm, really, I don't think, in allowing those transfer of items. Another thing that I do want to briefly mention, though, is that how Overwatch was just released on the Switch, and a lot of people are using this as a way to say, well, because they just released it on the Switch, there's no way there's going to be an expansion, or there's no way there's going to be a sequel, and I just don't really fully believe that. I think it's entirely possible that they could release it on the Switch, and then maybe 10 months or a year later they could release a sequel or an expansion, or maybe even sooner than that. Remember, the game has been out for years for the main player base, which is on PC, and also some of the other consoles, Xbox and PS4. So just because the Switch players just now got access to it doesn't mean they're going to wait another several years before they do anything else, right? And again, sports games get released every single year. Call of Duty for a while was getting almost a yearly release as well. And I'm not saying that the people that play the game on the Switch are going to be happy about it, but I don't want to completely dismiss the idea because of that either. I also want to quickly show you this image again, which I talked about in a previous video. This is the schedule for all of the events, and as you can see, there are several that are simply marked as coming soon. The second day also has a few of these. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean anything super secret, but if they were going to section off some time to talk about things like Overwatch 2 or Diablo 4, then this is probably how they would do it. They obviously aren't going to just put it on the schedule and say, hey, we're going to talk about Diablo 4 at this panel. Please pretend to be surprised when we make the announcement for the trailer during the opening ceremony. I mean, I realize that the leaks are kind of spoiling it already, but that wasn't intentional, obviously, right? Like, they're not going to... There's a difference between just putting it on the schedule and having some of the info get leaked. One other thing I want to let you guys know about is that there was a new patch on the PTR. Normally, I would make a video going over all the changes, but there really isn't a whole lot of point to that for this new patch on the PTR because there just really isn't anything significant on it. Like, they once again changed how May's ice wall will work on ledges, and it once again appears to be broken. I don't know why they keep changing that, whatever. They also changed the way that it looks when you aim with Ash. So before, on the live version of the game, you can see it's like really difficult to see through that. So they've gone and they've changed it, and this looks way better. In fact, I think this is probably the best version of this, because even some of the other epics and legendaries still kind of block off your screen a little bit, and this one looks like it is definitely objectively the best option. So if you're an Ashe player, you should probably get this skin and just use this one if you want to have an easier time of actually aiming and hitting stuff. There's also a couple of other things like bug fixes, but there was no major hero balances or anything, so there's not really like a whole lot to talk about on it, so there's no point in me making a completely separate video on it. Now, it's possible there could be some hidden stuff that's on the PTR that we just haven't seen yet, and they're waiting until Blizzcon to kind of update and activate it, but for right now, the PTR really doesn't have anything significant, which actually kind of brings up the question. I mean, if there's nothing significant to change on it, then what incentive is there for people to even go and use it? Like, the PTR doesn't have a very high user base as it begins with when they do have significant changes. Like, really, the only time the PTR seems to get any sort of major use is when there's a new character, and a little bit less when there's a new map or something. But, I mean, how many people are actually going to go on the PTR and mess around with this stuff? Probably not too many. I don't know. I think Blizzard needs to work on incentivizing playing on the PTR. Give something as a reward. I don't know. Anyways, like, what's the point of testing stuff if nobody's there? Okay, so moving on. Let me ask you guys, though, about all of those leaks. Do you think that they're just good predictions, or do you think that they're actually real? And if so, what do you think about the possibility of moving Overwatch from a system like loot boxes to a season pass, or Overwatch 2 being its own standalone game? And how do you feel about them not moving the skins over? So let me know what you guys think about all that stuff. Let me know down below. Thanks for watching, and if you'd like to see more, subscribe and hit that bell so you don't miss anything. Also, come hang out in my Discord server and my Twitch live stream. Special thanks to my Patreon supporters. If you'd like to see what kind of cool VIP rewards you can get, check the links down below. And remember, always blame the controller, because it's never your fault.